This is the Mini 5 Pro, the first drone below 250 grams with a 1-inch sensor. But before we dive in, let me just give you the highlights of the Mini 5 Pro. A new 50 megapixel 1-inch sensor with better dynamic range and low light performance. LiDAR obstacle sensing that now works better even in dark. A 48mm medium tele option providing 2x zoom for cinematic close-ups. A 225-degree gimbal rotation with true vertical shooting. New ActiveTrack 360 that is supposed to be faster and more precise. Plus a few practical upgrades like an internal 42GB internal storage, and it seems it's compatible with the batteries from the Mini 4 Pro. I see the Mini 5 Pro as a drone that is suited for both beginners and professionals. It's built on the Mini 4 Pro, but there are clear upgrades, especially the camera and the sensors and the overall user experience, and still keeping it below 250 grams, making it a C0 drone, which is a big advantage, at least for us here in Europe, regarding the legislation. As for the price, you will be able to buy the following configurations. Let's dive in and take a closer look. Design and build quality. The Mini 5 Pro has a new darker gray look. The propeller sits slightly different, giving it a more streamlined design. And it stands a bit taller compared to the Mini 4 Pro. The battery is still mounted from the back, just like we're used to. A neat touch is that the drone powers on automatically when you unfold the arms. That makes it pretty convenient and quick to get it airborne. But with the DJI RC2 controller, you still have to wait like 30-40 seconds before startup. If you wanted to go even faster, then you have to use the new DJI RC Pro 2 that is lightning quick, especially in sleep mode because that's basically instant on. One thing you need to be aware of, it might be convenient, but the drone actually powers on when you push in a new fresh battery. It will run quietly in the background, but it also stays like that. So if you let it sit for longer periods of time, it will drain the battery. And it might heat up as well, so that will maybe cause some problems. I didn't run into issues with overheating during normal use. If you put in a new battery while it's folded, it does not turn on automatically. You can turn the feature off if you prefer in the user interface. I discovered one thing is that you can actually take off with the C1 button on the back of the remote. So just by pressing the launch sequence here, if I press C1 here, see? The drone will automatically take off.
Home point updated.
And I can reverse the process by pressing C1 again.
Landing.
C1 is one of the function buttons here in the back. So now it comes back. This button has not prior to release been assigned to any function. The camera and the gimbal. The main headline feature is the new 50 megapixel 1-inch sensor with the new image processor algorithm. It should offer a clear difference in dynamic range and details. Let's take a closer look at that. I tested the Mini 5 Pro directly against the Mini 4 Pro in 4K 30 FPS at 100 meters altitude with neutral exposure and no filters. First the Mini 5 Pro with the parking lot in the center. Then the Mini 4 Pro at the exact same spot. So let's make a comparison side by side. And another comparison where we do a magnification of 400%. So you can really see the difference in details in the image. Let's repeat the test in a different location. It seems the Mini 5 Pro showed better dynamics with shadows holding more details. I also compared it against the Air 3S that also, like the Mini 5 Pro, has a 1-inch sensor as the main camera. Let's compare it against the Mini 5 Pro. And then add 400% magnification. Change the camera position to another spot. It's impressive how close the Mini 5 Pro gets given its size. The Air 3S still delivers slightly cleaner images with less moire on the rooftops during descent. Another highlight is the new 48mm medium tele mode, offering 2x zoom. This is lossless digital zoom using the 50 megapixel high pixel mode, and the output remains 4K using the 2x magnification. Perfect for isolating subjects or creating cinematic compositions, which is the first time for the mini drones. Portrait mode has also been upgraded with tech borrowed from the Pocket 3. Skin tones and contrast now looks better out of the box, with less editing required. This is not something that I've paid much attention to in the past and found necessary, but it's still a nice upgrade. The gimbal now rotates a full 225 degrees, which means true vertical shooting without any crop. That's perfect for TikTok, Instagram, or any mobile first content. I tested it with quick shots and the results were really great. Smooth cinematic moves you simply can't get with a handheld camera. You can turn the gimbal by pressing the C1 at the same time as using the wheel here on the right. I tried to do it using the combinations on the sticks to see if I could fly something that would look cool, but that's really difficult. So it's very useful that you have the quick shot option available to help you automate that process. Note there are some limitations of what you can do if you're using the quick shots. You can't tilt the gimbal and then fly towards a subject and make it turn. It will straighten the gimbal and then it will fly straight while it's doing the turning. So that's a limitation to be aware of. You can also turn the gimbal in combination with the time lapse, as well as waypoints. As for color profiles, we still have 3 options. The standard that provides a punchy, ready to use color straight out of the camera. D-Log-M, which is a 10-bit flat profile for maximum flexibility in grading. And we have HLG that provides a wide dynamic range ideal for HDR workflows. For most users, standard is plenty. But I like that Mini 5 Pro still gives some flexibility for experimenting in post-production. The gimbal protector is a one-piece plastic part that is held in place by a strap that attaches to the drone, protecting the camera and props. Sensors and safety. There are obstacle avoidance cameras front and rear, similar to what we have seen on the Mini 4 Pro. But now the Mini 5 Pro is featuring LiDAR sensor in the front. This is a huge step up, as the Mini 4 Pro often struggles with the thin branches, wires, glass walls, and plane surfaces. I wish I had that feature before I crashed my Mini 4 Pro into a branch while tracking in daylight. It fell 10 to 15 meters and it broke an arm. It also supports non-GNSS RTH and nighttime RTH, meaning it can return without GPS or in low light environment. Smart RTH now memorizes the flight path, making the trip home safer and more precise, exactly like we have seen in some of my previous videos with the Air 3S. I tested the Mini 5 Pro in an industrial area with just the street lamps for light. Yeah. So it's here. I actually don't know how much you can see. The LiDAR sensors worked as promised and the drone safely returned home. If you want me to do a full test of the RTH and obstacle avoidance sensing in more complex environments, then drop RTH in the comments below. And with enough comments, I will make a dedicated video where I really push the system. ActiveTrack 360. With LiDAR in the front, it's no surprise that DJI has been capable of improving the ActiveTrack. There are now multiple tracking modes. The standard for steady and moderate tracking. There's one for cycling that's faster and more agile, which is great for sports. And finally, there's one that's optimized for skiing. I don't own a bike, so why not take ActiveTrack out and test it with my electric unicycle? Just to see how the drone would handle it and to give you an idea how this feature works. The interface has been redesigned and it's much easier to use. Honestly, I was never a big fan of this wheel in the corner. I think it was really confusing and was very difficult to predict what the drone would do. But now they seem to have sorted it out, so it actually detects what direction that you are positioned and it actually positions the drone more or less accurate according to the label that you see in the corner. So that's pretty good. Tracking is now quicker, more responsive and safer. In open areas, the Mini 5 Pro can now follow subjects up to 15 meters per second while navigating obstacles intelligently. I'm pretty happy it would do that, otherwise it would have rammed my car. One area where tracking has always been difficult for DJI is when you put the drone in front of you and try to move against it, then it will typically fall off to the side. I'm happy to see that they finally fixed that part and it stays locked in dead center while I'm riding the unicycle in the parking lot. So these are definitely huge improvements that makes the ActiveTrack experience a lot easier to navigate and use. But you know what's coming? if you've been following here for a while, is the big stress test. I will do that in my father's place, walking through his apple plantation, where there's a lot of branches and obstacles that the drone needs to navigate around. But I will save that for a separate video. Batteries and flight time. The standard battery provides up to 36 minutes of flight time. But we know in real life this equals to something like 25 minutes. The extended intelligent flight battery, which is unfortunately not available in the EU, will extend the flight time up to 52 minutes in theory, and the start altitude will be increased to 6,000 meters. So one great detail is that the Mini 4 Pro batteries is actually compatible with the Mini 5. You can plug them in and you can fly around with the drone without any issues or any error messages on the display. Unfortunately, if we control the weight, we would notice, let's just try and weigh the Mini 5 Pro with the original battery. You can see that comes in at 252. This is definitely not a precision scale, so we can only use it maybe to detect if there is like a difference between the weight in these two configurations. So if I plug in the Mini 4 Pro battery and put it on the scale, then you would see that the weight increases with 6 or 7 grams, which would probably make it exceed the weight limit of the drone, rendering the C0 label in the base useless. So if you have to fly with your Mini 4 Pro batteries, you would likely have to upgrade the drone from a C0 to a C1 drone. Something that was possible with the previous model, which I will also expect would be possible with the new Mini 5 Pro. Transmission and image quality. The Mini 5 Pro uses the DJI O4 Plus transmission, delivering a 10-bit video feed and up to 20 kilometers of range in FCC territory. In EU, it's halved due to regulations, but in either case, the range is way more than we are allowed to use if we want to fly legally. Propellers and maintenance. The new quick release propellers, they are really nice improvement. No more fiddling with screws. Let me show you how easy it works. Quick release propeller system. Push down, turn, take the prop off, put it on top, push down, turn, then it's locked into position. Noise levels. The noise level is more or less the same as the Mini 4 Pro. Both have this characteristic buzz that is not too aggressive. So this is a noise test. We'll first do one in 1.2 meters, then go to 10 meters with the Mini 5 Pro. Now we swap for the Mini 4 Pro. You can judge for yourself when I switch between the recordings of both drones. To my ears, the Mini 4 Pro sounds quieter and more pleasant. It is a bit windy today, so the comparison at this height is not really fair. I know this is subjective, and at some point I will do a more scientific noise test. Storage. Apart from the standard SD card slot that is accessible through the back of the drone, the Mini 5 Pro has been upgraded with an internal 42 GB of internal storage. This is 40 GB more than the Mini 4 Pro, which only had 2 GB, rendering almost useless. This is a real lifesaver if you're on the road and you by accident have forgotten your SD card. The Fly More combo, including its accessories. Let me just show you the Fly More combo, what's inside. Because this bag is actually quite roomy compared to what we are used to. So see, you can just tuck the remote on one side. Plenty of room for the drone here in the middle. Have the charging cable. Then I have a 3 battery charging hub. that charges 3 batteries in parallel if you use the 100-watt charger from the Air 3S. And it doubles as a power bank, but it's a rather expensive way to charge as it sort of reduces the life of your batteries. But very handy if your phone or controller runs out of juice. And then I have the ND filters. There is a set of ND filters included in the kit. It's an ND8, it's an ND32, and it's an ND128. On previous models you had to take off the front bezel and exposing the camera. You don't need to do that here. You simply just align the filter and snap them on. Very easy. The bag is finally bigger than what we need to, so it's not the bare minimum, leaving room for extra gear when you're on the road. There's actually so much room that I can have something extra in here. This is like 3 batteries for my Osmo camera. I can have the Osmo camera by itself. And here on the top, where I have all the propellers and all the extra stuff that you usually bring along with the drone, I can have my little tripod stand, as well as my USB-C microphone that I bring along when I'm out teaching. So my final verdict after been using the Mini 5 Pro for the last couple of weeks. The Mini 5 Pro is without any doubt the most powerful mini drone that I've ever flown. With the combination of a 50 megapixel 1-inch sensor, LiDAR obstacle sensing in low light, the new 48mm medium tele mode, and 225-degree gimbal rotation with through vertical shooting, and a massively upgraded ActiveTrack 360, it really feels like an all-in-one mini camera drone. It's small and it's portable, yet delivers footage that is reserved for much larger models. And I'm pretty sure that DJI will continue to improve the algorithm behind the camera, so it will only improve from here. It works perfectly for beginners that wants a safe and intuitive drone to start with. And for professionals who need top quality results on the go without any compromises. So that's my full review of the Mini 5 Pro. So it's pretty clear that I like the Mini 5 Pro. But should you get it, and is it worth upgrading for the Mini 4 Pro? But that would be up to you to decide based on the information that I've provided in this video. And I will also highly encourage you to watch other reviews as well, so you can make like an educated decision if you want to get it or not. If you decide to buy it, I would appreciate that you use some of the affiliate links that I've provided in the description below. You will pay the same price, but I will get a small commission of the sales, and this will help the channel and help me produce videos like these in the future. Thank you very much. I have more tests coming, including pushing ActiveTrack and return to home to the limit. If you want to see that and don't miss out, then make sure to subscribe. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give it a like. If you did like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you on the next one.